Welcome into Rover Sports, Slaughterhouse Sports, and Curtis Bagoosh here on the Northeast. And we are talking about one of the most exciting finishes to an NBA Eastern Conference game. The New York Knickerbockers were coasting to a victory. And you, Spencer G., actually thought it was over, and you actually left the bar before you came to the studio because you thought there was nothing really to see. So you heard it on the radio, and you had a chance to replay it back, and it was crazy stuff. What did you see last night?
It was wild, Bruce. It was absolutely wild. I mean, we had Aaron Nesmith just go absolutely nuclear in the final 3 minutes of the game, and I just on my way home. I assumed that the game was over. I mean, the Knicks were up by 16 when Jalen Brunson left the game with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. OG Anunoby ripped off like 8 straight points. The Knicks went on like a 17 to like 3 run without Jalen Brunson. And I thought that was going to really be the story of the game, was the Knicks defense really buckling down, and then even the Pacers were fouling on 3-point shooters. So it looked like the Knicks had separated, but the Indiana Pacers hit 6 straight threes in the final 3 minutes of the game, which is almost unheard of. 18 points right there, which is huge for the Pacers. And Aaron Nesmith was 8 of 9 from 3 and had 5 3-pointers in a row in the final moments of this game, and just an incredible performance by Aaron Nesmith.
Excuse me. So indeed, that is true. As I get ready to talk and I start coughing.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm coughing at the truth, usually sneeze at the truth. But in any event, it looks to me that the Knicks, it's not like the Knicks played bad. We rewatched it several times. The Knicks played great. However, they didn't defend the hot shooter. Number 23, Mr. Nesmith, was wearing Michael Jordan's old number. And he scored not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 3-pointers. And they got more difficult as time went on. He broke the ankles of Josh Hart for that one dagger. And watching the end of regulation, it was really incredible by Tyreese Haliburton. It's really amazing. He drove in. The clock is running out, incredibly athletic. He moved the ball back, and just as the clock was striking 0, like Cinderella, he did a fadeaway shot that clanked off the back rim and went straight up in the air. And it seemed like a million feet in the air. So when watching it, to me, it looked like that was it. It looks like he missed the shot. The Knicks would win.
It looked like the ball would bounce anywhere.
Could have bounced anywhere, and it went up so high. And the idea, with a little bit of luck, it probably a shooter's touch, the ball ended up dropping straight through the hoop, touching nothing but net. And then Haliburton used the old Reggie Miller choke side. So he went. Luckily, this was not a football game because he probably would have gotten a taunting penalty. But he did a choke side as if he won with a 3-pointer. And, of course, they went back to the replay, and his foot was on the line. And much to his chagrin, Haliburton had to go out after basically going in the face to the Knicks. He had to engage in a 5-minute overtime period. Right. What did you see the overtime?
And he would have gotten clowned if they lost the game. So, I mean, overall, Nesmith, like the Knicks kept going under the screens, but the Knicks were even scoring. And the thing is, when you hit like 7 threes or whatever they hit in that span, you're going to end up. You're going to end up, winning the game. And that's what the Pacers did. They're never out of a game. I've never seen a shooter like Nesmith in that moment. And he's known as a decent 3-point shooter, but he's mostly known as a defender. So he had the game of his life. In fact, he had a playoff high 30 points. So this is a devastating game for the Knicks because now the Pacers like to play fast. And they have 10 players that they go through, so they're depth. So they can wear the Knicks down if the Knicks are going to continue to play at this pace. Like the Knicks' next goal should obviously be to win at home, but you got to give rest because they only play 6 guys And if it's the war of attrition, the Pacers are going to end up outlasting this team in the long run.
Absolutely true. We saw a great post-game show, as always, on TNT. And Charles Barkley said that if they play at this pace and we look at the score, 138 to 135, Charlie Bowles would be happy if he bet the over.
Yes.
If they're going to play at this lightning speed, the Pacers play 10 deep. And as you said, the Knicks play 6, maybe 7 at most. And they just came through a grueling series before. So we look at it and the style of play. And at the very end, it seemed like Brunson and, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, they played amazing games.
Yeah.
Cat had 35 points. He was doing inside-out rebounding. He was doing reverse layups. As a 7-foot guy, he had one of the best games ever. And also, of course, Brunson had 42 points. But at the very end, as we get to the very end of overtime, Brunson had to hoist a long three, he was out of gas. He was right on line, but shot an air ball.
Yeah.
And then they kicked it out to Towns, and he hit an air ball. And then the ball went out of bounds. And Haliburton again went a little hot dog with 0.2 seconds left. I'm sure the Knicks will not forget this. What happened at the end with 0.2 seconds?
He handed Towns the ball.
He just handed the ball, and he just heaved the ball. And it was just kind of like it's borderline bad sportsmanship.
Form of gamesmanship. But listen, I love the rivalries in the NBA. I love that the games are getting chippy. But the Pacers play a pretty finesse style, and the Knicks, they're not slowing them down. They're not able to beat up on the Pacers. The way you got to beat this Pacers team is you got to slow it down, and you kind of got to kick their ass and play really physical. You're going to need Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Towns, and Robertson or Mitchell Robinson. They need to play real bully ball to these guys because Tyreese Haliburton, he's all finesse. Like when he dribbles the ball, he dribbles like Steph Curry, where that basketball is bouncing really high. You know, he doesn't dribble with a lot of force. You know, everything is light with Haliburton, great touch. They're always throwing lobs. They're a very finesse team, okay? They're not a run the football team. They're a throw the football team, okay? And they're a run and go team. You need to slow the game down and try to beat the crap out of them and make it look less aesthetically pleasing, all right, if you're going to win, if you're the Knicks. But now the Pacers, they have home court now. Game 2 should be a lot of fun. This game was just an absolute treat. Both teams playing great offensive basketball. I don't think the Knicks really blew this game as much as Indiana won it. When a team hits that many threes, you got to tip your cap to Aaron Nesmith and Haliburton. And the Knicks showed poise at the end of regulation. But when a team takes 6 3-pointers and goes 6 for 6, I mean, maybe you could say that the Knicks should have contested better. But in this day and age, you can always get called for fouls if you're contesting. I just thought Indiana flat out won this game. And Aaron Nesmith had an out-of-body experience. So I think the Pacers more won the game than the Knicks just turning it over and making incredible mistakes. I thought that the Pacers just played out of their minds. And this Indiana team, Bruce, it's funny. You have Haliburton. This is a smaller market. Last year, they made the conference finals, but were not really given the credit, I think. And if the Pacers end up winning now, you're going to have to start taking the Pacers more seriously as like a threat, or can this Pacers team like gain your respect in terms of being a real serious contender to win this whole thing?
I'd like to make 2 points. So what is a statistical point? This was an outlier. The Knicks were ahead by 14 points with just over 3 minutes left. You checked the Elias Sports Bureau, and you saw that almost 1,000 prior playoff games in the NBA where a team had a 14-point lead with 3 minutes left. Out of 900-plus games, a total of 0 teams, came back and were able to prevail and win. But now it's not 0 anymore. It's 1. So obviously that speaks for itself, but amplify that. You've seen a lot of basketball. Yeah. It was shocking. And in fact, the Kevin Harlan said, this guy is throwing daggers. So basically, Nesmith was throwing daggers. And they're basically the possessions for the Pacers were just like 2 to 3 second possessions. They couldn't have done it any other way. They just flipped it to him. He was shooting from the elbow. He was shooting from the top of the key. And, of course, Haliburton shot an incredible, he was involved in the three-point barrage, an amazing shot. They had to do it that way. And if we look at the breakdown, we look at the Pacers, all 5 starters were double figures, okay? And they just, if you look at, I'm looking right now at the stats here with the Pacers, and I note that Turner had a really good first half, okay? He had 14 points. He was very quiet in the second half. Nembhard had 2 amazing plays. One where he did a little shake and bake and laid it in. And Nesmith, we talked about already. Siakam is one of the glue guys. He played 43 minutes. And Siakam was the one passing it and feeding it to Nesmith. And Siakam is a world champion. So he has a ring from Toronto. And if we look at another guy, former Sixer, TJ McConnell, in the third quarter, when the Knicks were starting to almost blow them out, McConnell had 10 points. So McConnell was able to keep the Pacers close, and that's what he does. He keeps them close. He kind of plays a Cam Payne role. So Cam Payne played well, played minutes in the first half, and they sat Brunson. Obviously had some foul trouble, but Cam Payne didn't do much in the quarterfinals, but did play some. But if you look at the starting 5 for the Pacers, Nesmith had 30 points, his all-time high. And that's really saying a lot. When you're playing at Madison Square Garden in front of that crowd, with that pressure, with the bright lights, with TNT, and Nesmith, great interview, calm guy, and he said, I'm a phenomenal shooter. They asked him in the interview, and he said, it didn't surprise me I'm a phenomenal shooter. And sure enough, he throws a kind of a line drive shot, but right on, and he clanked a few of them in.
He's gotten better, and he got traded from the Celtics. I'd say he's a good player. He's not like an all-star caliber guy, and that's why, it's very interesting that he broke Reggie Miller's record. Reggie's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest shooters to ever play. And now Nesmith had this game. I mean, I'd expect going forward Nesmith to score more in the 15 to 16-point range, but maybe he's just going to catch fire. And you saw this last year with guys like P.J. Washington, Grant Williams. Like, some of these role players just have exceptional playoffs. And, I mean, it adds to his legacy. And if the Pacers are going to go on to win this series, the Knicks, I guess, are going to be very distraught at not defending the three-point line, maybe going underneath the screens, not hedging. That's the thing. You couldn't allow walk-in threes, and Nesmith was able to walk into looks. So it was just a thrilling game. I thought that the Knicks had it in the bag, but this series really has entertainment value on it, and the Pacers play 10 guys, like you said, like Mathurin comes off of the bench. Obi Toppin was huge in the overtime.
He was.
But like, Haliburton is probably the guy who handles the ball the most, but he's so unselfish. So on any given night, you could have a new leading scorer on this team, and that's what's really fun. It's like a team of 10 guys. It's not just 1 or 2 players being a star player. This team is like a hockey team in terms of their line shift. So that's what makes it a really fun, interesting team.
Yes, Toppin had 2 tremendous plays. So this is the Pacers just being a team. So Toppin, there was a missed shot, and Toppin just went up and jammed it. And at the end of the game, one of the best. This could have been, if this was a competitive dunk competition where there was nobody else in the court, Toppin basically came down the baseline, went up, seemingly a large distance. He went up, he came all the way down, double pumped, and went up and dunked it, 2 hands over Mikal Bridges. It was exceptionally athletic. It was in the face. It was truly an in-the-face play.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to watch, I mean, I don't usually advocate watching games back, but watch it back from the middle of the third quarter on. You're not going to believe it. In fact, when we watched it back a few times, we couldn't believe that the Knicks didn't win the game.
I was stunned.
It was totally
I was
stunning.
Totally stunned that it was even a game, with a minute to go and all of this. And it just speaks to the way that the Pacers played this game. And it was tremendous. And it was a thrilling game, really was. And we're going to see, what this game's going to mean. But you could show this game in isolation and still have it be one of the great outcomes in NBA playoff history.
That's right. And when it comes to Aaron Nesmith, just like you said, there's an old saying, he will probably come to the midline. In other words, he's not likely to score another 30 points. But what he did, this is something that no one will forget. Going 8 out of 9 from three-point range in a playoff game. Something that Reggie Miller never did. He eclipsed the percentage of 3 points, 8 3-points in a game. The great Reggie Miller never paralleled that. If you watch it back, you'll truly see greatness. So when you see greatness, you know what that is? That's his ceiling. That's him reaching his potential because he had to do it. Nobody did it for him. Nobody gave him anything. So that means that Nesmith, he has the potential to do it again if he could do it then. And when you see a young guy like that just come into his own, and a lot of people watching this, I'd say the majority are Knicks fans, but there's some Pacers fans. There's a lot of Philly fans who are anti-New York, and a lot of them are rooting for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
So let me tell the fans who we are. I'm Bruce, the Sportsdoc. We're Spencer G. If you like this and you want to see more, we cover college and pro football and basketball. He's Spencer G. I'm Sportsdoc. The names of our platforms, please like and subscribe. Go ahead, Spence.
Yeah, so we have Rover Sports, and that is on 860 AM radio in right outside of Philadelphia. That's on Tuesday nights. And then right here, you're watching on Slaughterhouse Sports, where I break down a lot of college football film. We talk a lot of NFL and college football, but also we'll cover big stories, whether that be the NBA, whether that be the Masters, whether that be a big story in Major League Baseball. And, I'm excited for you guys to see our radio show. After this video, I might go upload some of our radio show footage from this past week where we covered, Pete Rose Hall of Fame and several other stories in sports. But this definitely prompted a live stream last night's basketball game.
Right. And just for background, I'm a neurologist in the Sportsdoc. I treat many of the athletes active and retired here in the Philadelphia area. And we're also going to be boosting this on @Phila, Phila, Sportsdoc. So @Phila Sportsdoc. We also spoke about Slaughterhouse Sports and also in the Philly area Tuesday nights, 7:30 to 8:30. And finally, I'll disclose this on Facebook because I'm old school, and you can go to my Facebook page and you can friend me, and you'll get a lot of content. And my name is BRUCE, last name Grossinger, GROSSINGER. So in any event, it's been great talking to everybody. We've had a lot of viewers, a lot of people streaming. And please share this with your friends. And as we like to do, my closing moniker is, as always, good night and good sports.